All right, so instead of trading 10 accounts today, I am trading 5 accounts because Apex terminated my accounts, banned me from their sites. I want to explain and show you exactly what I said, what the CEO said, and then you can make a call on what you want to do. I'm not going to give my opinion moving forward, but I would like your advice. I've only traded with Apex and Top Step in my whole life, so I would love for you to get down in the comments and tell me who I should move to next on top of what I'm already trading. And then I will show you my trades from today. The market's still open. Maybe we'll take another one because we are green today. Again, for our 7th day in a row, something like that. But yeah, first, let me just show you what happens. I want to get it out of the way so I can move on. If you're in the prop space, you know that Apex gets a ton of heat. Now with a ton of people using it and what this scene has really become, it has become a little bit toxic. I can understand why they're constantly on the defensive and why they're backpedaling and things like that. But they also need to recognize the people that have been loyal with them. I've been trading with them since 2022. Like I said, besides Top Step, they are the only firm I've ever used. And the reason I switched from Top Step to them is because I had an affiliate conflict where they didn't pay me $3,000. So Top Step screwed me over. And I was like, that's fine. I'll swallow that pill and I'll move over here. And now this conversation has lost me thousands of dollars. Besides my accounts, that is what it is. But they also took away all my affiliates that I've ever gotten that were pending. So I'm not going to get paid on those. And yeah, I mean, it's not a ton of money, but it's still like the principle. And if I was wrong, let me know in the comments. You tell me if I was wrong. You tell me where I was out of pocket. Maybe I could have worded things slightly differently. I don't know. But here's the community. Here's what he posted. I will post all of this as I read it up on the screen. This is from John Skelton. He is the CEO of Apex. He just got on Twitter about 2 weeks ago so that he could have conversation and address certain things inside the community and pretty much put a stop to false narratives and things like that. Great. We like to see CEOs out in the open and being honest, but this shit to me is just unhinged. At 12:06 a.m. on Saturday, maybe he was out, whatever, maybe it was late night, he was angry. This type of communication or accusation and more spreading of false narratives on social media will not be tolerated. We have made that very clear. Your affiliate status and all accounts with Apex have been terminated. And then he blocked me. So now I'm going to show you what I said to him, granted publicly on Twitter or X. But what I'm still searching to find is where the communication or accusation happened. I never accused anybody of anything, in my opinion. And yes, I'm communicating on Twitter. I guess maybe he just didn't like any. I pretty much asked him to consider something. You'll see what I said in a second. But like I said, I want you to find where I accused him of anything, where I spread false narratives on social media, which would say that he could just eliminate everything and get rid of it. Okay? So here's what I said. I said to him, after talking with people in my community, and here's the context. I trade very small. You know that. I'm trading micros. So I was perfectly okay with the old legacy system of getting to the end of the month and then paying for another month, reoccurring payment. And he said that in an email to all the affiliates that they needed to get rid of that because the processing for reoccurring payments was stressing their processing system out, and they thought it would be more beneficial if they went to being able to buy evals in bulk. So they are the ones that have the 20 evals. Right now, you got to go in, buy one, go back in, buy one, go back in, buy one. And people complain about that. It's a little annoying, but we do it. So he said that in lieu of reoccurring payments, he was going to offer that, which he still hasn't offered yet. Whatever. That hurts me because now my nice, slow, steady system is now being forced and rushed to maybe go outside of my comfort zone when it comes to my sizing, my risk tolerance, and things like that, as well as all the people in my community that are also trading small. So I said, Skelton, please consider removing the 30-day limit. It only hurts traders that you claim to want. Steady, consistent, and low-risk traders. If recurrent payments are stressing the system, then at least give me the option to add a second month. I feel like I need to gamble the last week. It would be as easy as Your 30-day subscription has expired. You have 24 hours to add another month or your evaluation will be canceled. That wouldn't add any additional stress to your processor, unless, of course, people gambling and YOLOing to pass is something that you want. I'm sure he didn't like me using the word gambling, but if I feel like I need to gamble, that's my feeling. Like I'm not gonna lie about how I feel. That last week, if I'm not there and my account's gonna be terminated in 30 days, I need to up my size to try and get more profits. That's gambling to me. And that's all I said. Like in his campaign to eliminate the gamblers and stuff, because this is not gambling, he always focuses on, I want consistent, manageable traders that are not gambling. And by putting a limit, I just said that I think, in my opinion, that hurts the people that want to stay small and consistent and don't want to YOLO the news and don't want to trade multiple contracts. It hurts the traders that you claim to want. You want steady, consistent traders, but this is hurting them when you force them to go quickly when they are used to going slow. I talked about the email that we got about how it stresses it. I know why he got rid of the reoccurring payments, okay? But then I also gave a possible solution. Like this was, in my opinion, as easy as saying, thanks, Brad, we'll take that under consideration. Or, hey, yeah, I get where you're coming from. We'll think about it. And then close his computer and be like, yeah, that guy can go F himself. We're never going to change that. That to me, like I said, I used the word gamble, and I called him on the carpet and said, do you want people gambling or YOLOing, or do you want people to stay consistent? And I guess he felt maybe attacked or criticized from that. I didn't have an opportunity to speak to him after because he blocked me. And then says like that he's not trying to silence people by banning everybody, but I guess the only people now that I know that are being silenced are the affiliates, because things like this will just get you banned. Can't even log in. Done. Have a great day. And who am I going to tell the prop firm police? You know, nobody's really regulating this. It's like play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So I think moving forward with my experience trying to promote Top Step and getting screwed over by them, and then working with Apex and promoting them, I think moving forward, I don't think I'm going to talk publicly about who I'm trading with. I mean, my private community, I think I could share it because they're there for me and my information, but yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. So let me know where I screwed up on that one. Share this one with people that are, trading with Apex, and just tell them to keep their mouth shut. Stay under the radar. There's one thing I've learned from this is take your money and get the hell out. I could have taken my affiliate money, but I figured just let it build so they don't have to keep processing small affiliate payments. I let it build, I built. It's gone. And I know you're like, oh, whoa, Brad, all your affiliate money. Like, this is kind of how we make a living. Tough pill to swallow. But with all that said, I am trading 5 accounts now still with another firm that I do not want to mention. You can go back to old videos and see I did mention it there. But I will show you exactly how much I've made today and the trades that I took inside my mean reversion strategy of using the 30-day chart as well as modified Rankos. We'll get in. I'll show you kind of like my outlook on the day today. Moving in, we rolled contracts, so volume's still a little bit weird with people still needing to, or still trading the old contract maybe for one more day. You didn't have to move today. Most of us did though, I'm pretty sure. So I talked about in my Discord kind of like my mental checklist for the day. I pretty much make sure it's after 9:30 in the morning. I do not trade the overnight beforehand anymore. Just for whatever reason, I finally clicked like, if the stocks that the industry is tracking aren't open, then why are we trading them? As well as I like to be above 50% ATR, the average true range in the 7-day cycle, which for the Dow today was about 857. And we woke up this morning and it was already at like 600, so we're good to go. You can see down here that number, the range for today has been 871. That is from the low of the day down here all the way up to the high of the day here. We pretty much opened into my trend line. This is a 233. Why 233? It's prime number, Fibonacci number. Like, it's just a number that I've seen people back tested and people that I trust and respect use the 233. So that's what I've used. And if we see, it responded pretty well to that. This red line right here is the close of the prior day's session. Okay, so we have the prior day's session here. And then down here, the green line, we have the prior day. That lets me know if we're in range or out of range. Once we get out of range, I trade just slightly different. Not too much different, but also on here, I'm looking for the POC, the point of control for the last session. And then the one that we have during the day, which moves throughout the day, I use that as a developing area as well. And we can see that it's pretty much hugged right along that. We popped into the open. Then we pulled back. We got a little bit wicky, which allowed us to make a couple of trades and get out. I took a little bit of heat, but as you see in the last couple of videos, I'm very good at managing risk and averaging my position, taking small losses to get my better position and then get a better win. If you don't trade on NinjaTrader, okay, and you don't have access to these Renko bars that I use, it is totally, it's very, very close. If you use a 5 minute like candles, and you'll be good to go. Like when I was on Tradeovate, they didn't have these. I used the non-VWAP bands inside the community indicators with the first standard deviation that was 1.1, not 1. And the second standard deviation was just 2. They were very, very close to this. I used a 5 minute candle chart and non-VWAP bands. And like I said, was getting very, very close. If you're on NinjaTrader, you can let me know down in the comments or join the Discord. I'll let you know exactly how I got these. So let's move in. I pretty much, we're right now at 10:20 in the morning on this chart. I am on the ES. That's why I shade them different colors. Going back and forth, I kept screwing them up. So I made my ES just a different color, same on the 30-minute chart. So I don't make that mistake. If you one in the chat, if you've ever thought you were on one chart, but you were really on the other chart. All right, so let's zoom back here. 9:40, I placed my first trade. Now, there's going to be some context here as far as I'm using both the 30-minute for reference as well as this Renko chart as well. So my first trade here was at, what time of the morning? 9:42. Pretty much just letting the first 15 minutes. Now that we were approaching this, I was ready to start building a position. And then I entered my second trade, my second position right at that +2. So I'm entering short at +1 minus +1 +2, and I'm going long at -1 -2. In the videos, I try and talk fast. I'm always screwing up these damn +1s, +2s, and everything like that. So now I'm targeting VWAP. Now I'm targeting the +1 as a target. Came down, hit my trend line. This trend line is a 233 as well. Different area because trend lines depend on the time frame that you are trading. I entered my third. Now third is going to be my max. So when you see me enter a third position, you can probably know that I'm going to be looking to cover 1 and go back down to 2, especially if I'm in the red, so that I can better my position later. And I'm probably going to have to cover that at a small loss. So let's see, I came down, still coming down. I probably had one set right around the trend line to take a cover. Boom, there it is. All right. When your strategy is good, yeah, granted this was today, but when your strategy is good, you should kind of be able to predict where you would have got in, when you got out. So now I'm short 2, and my break even line is now moved from pretty much here. Now it's moved up to here. So now I'm in a position where if I go back up to if I go back up to the +2s, I can enter again and have my 3 contracts on and then look to cover that worst position. I believe this put me at like maybe a $20 or $30 loss when I pulled that first one off and then shot right back up. I got back to, once we entered, I entered that trend line right there. The swing high. I entered right there at the swing high. So that was going to be my next position. And also too, we were pretty much forcing high of day there. So I was trying to find the top. You know, if I'm being honest, I have the range and I know that I'm willing to take a little bit of risk. And sometimes you try and find the top and you lose. Sometimes you try and find the bottom and you lose. But once again, don't love having 3 contracts on. So I covered at my trend line. Now I'm short 2. This was a profitable trade, which I believe got me back to normal, got me back to even. Just missed my +1 there. And I took full stop right there. So if we see, I was in 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. So now I'm still in for one more. And now that I have one more, I'm probably going to let that run inside and try and target VWAP, the next line down. Said, nope, I'm ready to cover. I'm a school teacher. Now I remember I had to go to class, and I was going to try and target this one right here, but I had to go to class, so I took it off. I'm not day trading during class. I take my teaching job very, very professionally. So I had to go to class, was done with my morning prep, and yeah, took the contracts off. And that was, I believe, the only trade of the day. Let's see if we could have taken another trade somewhere. I only use VWAP as a target. I do not use it as an entry. I know as some people get better with the strategy, they can do that. I personally can't. So this right here is a classic fiddle in the middle. Oh, there is another trade that I took. All right. So now I am short at the plus ones.
Connection lost.
Sorry, I just said connection lost. I am short now, and let's see how far we're going to take this. I took it off right there. Probably another scenario where I had to get out. Let's see if this lined up with anything else. Nope, it lined right up with VPOC, right? So, or where did this line up? Let's see. Let's go to this. Yeah, it didn't really align with anything there. I either got spooked out, didn't want to. I was probably looking at the Bookmap, or I had to go to class, and then it went and hit my target anyway. The amount of times it does that, stay in your trade. Stay in your trade. And then, yeah, we definitely diddled in the middle here. Came down. I probably had a resting order down here at the -1s. Never got there. Diddle in the middle. Hugging VWAP. It's crazy how it just stays right on that volume point of control. But I guess VWAP is there because of all the orders there. Yeah, wow, look at that little choppy range. And here we are. This is currently live, point of day. So what does the rest of my day look like? Because these are evaluations and I have to close everything by 4 o'clock, I try and enter my last trade by 3. So all we're going to do, guys, if I pepper the books, I just put my orders here.
Submitted.
There's my sell.
Order submitted.
Here's my next sell.
Order submitted.
This is a buy. And this is a buy. And then I set my computer off to the side. I go about my life. I'll probably be editing this video. And then if I hear the little computer say order filled, then I'll lock in. But when you have this and you have your set targets, you put the numbers on the line and then you move on. All right. Please, like I said, let me know in the comments what prop firm should I add. What's a good one for someone that trades small? I love 25K accounts. Profit target doesn't really much matter to me. Even like one-time fee doesn't really matter to me. I don't mind if I have to pay every single month. As a slow trader, I recognize that that's just what I do, and it's probably going to take me 2 weeks. I'm in this for the long game. I'm not trying to get rich quick. I'm frankly not trying to get rich at all. All right? Green again. Let's keep the green streak going. And sorry for the rant. I'm over it. I won't bring it up again. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.